What's up to you?
Oh, wait, that's my Wi-Fi, right? Yeah, I think it's.
All right, I think Sox's Wi-Fi is crapping out a little bit, but that's okay. Welcome back to the Dead Red Podcast, everybody. A post-game edition. Post-game edition, Yankees 6, Red Sox 5. Definitely be talking about it on here. Shouts to everybody in the chat for tuning into this one. Sox is trying to fix his Wi-Fi or do whatever, but of course that's always acceptable because Wi-Fi can be Wi-Fi sometimes. I am wearing an earbud today because of course I can't hear it through my right ear. Shouts to Brad. Of course, I'm apparently the curse. What was I going to say? Shouts to Jets Mess. Shouts to Tony. So shouts to everybody. Hopefully we get a lot of people in here. Please share this out as well. 1 second. All right, so he's going to restart his computer, but we'll be going shortly, guys. Put your questions in, all that stuff, and I'm going to talk a little bit here. But please share out, do all the good stuff. I know Tony already retweeted it. I'm sure my best friend Brad will. Hicks still sucks. Yeah, you know that's correct. Be sure to hit that like button. Did your eardrops work? It's getting a little bit better, Brad. It's getting a little bit better. I'm gonna see tomorrow, and with that being said, I'll make a determination tomorrow if I need to switch them or go to the doctor or whatever. But for right now, I'm still operating. But I think the main topic me and Sox are going to go over, and I'll start a little bit now, is Garrett Cole. The Yankees won 6-5. That should be one of the top headlines, if anything like that. Should be the top headline. But with that being said, he did struggle tonight. And I think that's worthy of bringing it up because, while the Yankees offense supported it, and it was the players that sucked that supported him. It was Hicks. It was Donaldson. Shouts to Nimmer. What's going on, Nimmer? Loyal supporter of the channel. Donaldson and Hicks, they went yard. Trevino also, I think he had a single or a sac fly or whatever. But Garrett Cole, man, I don't like people who just say, "Oh, it's just Rafael Devers," because last year it was just Xander Bogaerts. Nothing else would have happened in that Boston game. I'm not so sure of that, and a lot of people are not happy with Garrett Cole right now. And once again, we got the win. I'm happy to be above the Red Sox by so many games right now. However, with that being said, you have to be concerned because he pitches well against Houston. Garrett Cole pitches great against Houston. All right. I was there when the no-hitter happened, unfortunately. I was there. And Cole started, and that was all on the offense. But for some reason, when he gets to Boston, he blows the fuck up. I remember last year I was at a Cyclones game. Shouts to Daryl. What's going on, Daryl? I was at a Cyclones game last year, and we were playing the Sox, and Garrett Cole blew up. Last year, AL wildcard game, he blew up. Blew up on opening day when I was there. At the same time, blew up tonight. So this is, I don't know if it's a mental thing. I think he gets in his own head. And I think it's honestly a concern. It's a concern where it's a repetitive concern. And I hate to be mumbling on my words here, people. But it's a repetitive concern. So now we got Sox back.
What's
Sox,
up,
my man? New York. But good game.
Oh, that was a good game, man. That was exciting. It was a playoff atmosphere at Fenway. I love it.
Definitely. So basically what went on tonight, if I'm going to put it in summary of words, and I know you saw a little bit of the game as well, is Josh Donaldson hit a grand slam, which I was expecting, actually. Aaron Hicks hit a back-to-back home run. Trevino did something. But Rafael Devers kills Garrett Cole. And that can't happen, in the postseason. And I understand everybody says, oh, it's, one player. But at the same time, Aaron Judge owns the Astros. And, in those 2 games, he walked it off. And if it wasn't for him in those 2 games, we would have been swept by the Astros. So I don't mean to turn the whole thing negative here. But I know the Yankees won. I know we're still up. But at the same time, in the postseason, is this pitching really going to be acceptable?
I probably not, as we've seen in recent history from the Yankees. And it's just insane what Devers does against that guy. You're talking about one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, notoriously for the last few years. And I know he's had his ups and downs, but I mean, those balls were destroyed. That second home run was in the air for so long. It was a majestic shot. I mean, that's unbelievable. But I don't know. I don't think the Yankees pitching staff has that much to worry about right now, where they're at. But that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Hell of a game for the Orioles tonight, baby. Huge winning streak in progress. The Orioles are doing good. The Orioles are doing good, and we might soon be the division that has all 5 over 500 teams. I
Yeah.
think they're 4 games under 500. So, the Orioles are the little brother of the division. But hey, you know what? If it makes our division look better, why not? Brad, who always picks on me, but of course it's all in good fun, says $36 million fraud in big games. You have something in common, meaning me, with the Cole curse. You're both frauds. But then again, Brad, at least an organization isn't wasting $36 million on me. Nemmer says, yo, Alex, what day are you going for FanFest? Me and my friend are going on August 2nd. And okay, so August 2nd, I think, is one of the days for training camp. But to be fair, FanFest is on August 5th. That's a Friday. So that is the big day where everybody gets together and, all the content creators and stuff, which I'll be excited for this year. Shout outs to Brad also as well. He did share us out. So thank you to him. Thank you to Tony. And I got into a debate before with a friend. Hey, Curse, how's Patricia? You're a real funny guy. Man, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good about this Garrett Cole thing. It just bothers me. I don't know what they're going to say in the post-game show, but and they've had some really blow-up starts lately from Jamison Tyon. And if anything, once again, it's just the repeating concern that they need pitching, that they got to go out there, get a Montas, get a Castillo, get whoever. How do you feel about the how do you now? I know your team lost. How do you feel about your team after this game?
I don't know. It's interesting because you get these like weird starts from the starters where it's just, Donaldson gets the grand slam tonight, obviously, but overall our starting rotation since I believe the end of May has been in the top 5 in the entire MLB. It's the back end of the bullpen that we worry about a little bit, but right now Sox fans are around Twitter and everything. It's the offense. It's the stranding the men on base. So our pitching always finds a way to do well in the playoffs. Like they really don't choke. They really don't. Our worry right now is the offense, and like stranding runners on base is what's killing us right now.
Yeah. Nimmer said my friend also said he is free on August 5th. Well, that's a FanFest day. So if you guys can make it, we'll be glad to meet you and your friend Nimmer. What was I going to say? But as for the Red Sox tonight, 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. So to be fair, it was all Devers, 2 home runs, all 5 on that bat. And, once again, it all trails back to the same point that Devers hits Cole very, very well. And I don't understand, to be honest with you. Shouts to LI Yankee King, met him at NYY News TV Day. Back the money truck up to Devers. After this game, you have to feel really confident about him. And I even said in our game season chat, why, because shortstop is not necessarily it's not a big need, but at the same time, IKF has committed 13 errors this season. I think you've heard me complain about him before. So I said, is it possible, do you guys want what was I going to say? Do you guys want Bogarts? And nobody answered me, but I said Bogarts would be an attractive piece possibly if the Red Sox can't retain him. Please don't load the money on Devers. Well, it looks like that might happen for the Sox. And if to be fair, if you're the Red Sox and your guy's hitting bombs off of what's supposed to be an ace, and that could go in the playoffs as well, you might want to keep him.
Home runs prove to be big in the playoffs lately, but you talk about the errors defensively. I think Devers has 11 or 12 on his own. We saw him throw one into the camera well a couple nights ago that was really bad. So, he's come a long way defensively, but that's something to think about with him as well. Like Xander Bogaerts is way, way more sure-handed over there at shortstop than you have Devers at third. So that's something to throw in there too.
Definitely. Brad says, "Sorry, Sox didn't. You in the share wasn't following you till a minute ago." So
I
he's
saw that,
probably
Brad. I
he's all
appreciate it.
good,
Thank you.
all good there. Of course, he's in Australia, by the way. So really appreciate him
Hey,
tuning in
thanks for
from
being here, Brad.
Australia. We'll accept questions, of course, and we'll keep talking about this game and some of the stuff going around the MLB. To really get off the subject for just 2 seconds, and we'll jump back on. What do you think of what happened with Chris Sale in Worcester? Well, actually, that was against the Rail Riders, but I don't know if it was in Worcester or against the Rail Riders. How do you feel about it?
So my last update on Chris Sale was his 7 strikeout game. Is that what we're talking about?
Wow, so you missed the media rodeo.
I've been busy. Big Blue. You got to update me.
Okay, so I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up, and then we're gonna throw it in to the share. So
I don't know.
this,
Maybe it'll come back to me if you tell.
all right. See, to be fair, I hate the accounts that it's showing up on, so I don't give them credit. But we're gonna show it here. He was taken out after he walked the bases loaded in, I think, 3 2/3 innings in a rehab start against the Rail Riders. So this was him in the runway. I think I shared my screen. If I didn't, here we are. Full screen it for you. This was him.
Oh shit!
Okay, so we did that. That's not the only thing, though.
Oh my god!
Yep. So that's not the only thing, surprisingly. Well, surprisingly, not surprisingly to some. I'm gonna throw. There was something else. He said a couple of things, honestly, after it about the people taking video. I want to get to because
Yeah, because he came out and saw them right away. I know I saw some fire in his eyes when he saw them recording him.
Yeah. So I have two separate quotes from Chris Sale that I'm gonna pull up, and Jets Mess says Sale is crazy, and then Brad says it's all over Twitter. Sox a fair bit of video of it. So yep, we just showed that. So here's what someone stole Sale's Twinkies. That's funny. So here's what he first said about being caught on video. That's their problem for videoing it. If you want me to act like a normal person, treat me like a normal person. This isn't a normal atmosphere. If I was at Bank of America, that wouldn't fly. I'm kind of troubled by that, I would say, quote, because the dude hasn't pitched in like 2 years, and he hasn't necessarily re-earned the reputation that he, once was an ace. So I'm a bit troubled by that. And now he says this. He said this. I would say a few hours ago. He said, "I acted like an idiot last night, and I've acted like an idiot before. It's who I am. It's what makes me a big leaguer. It's what makes me good at my job. It might not be the best for the public eye, but what is? Who's perfect? Name him. I'd like to shake his hand." So he's got. I don't want to say he reminds me of Josh Donaldson, but I think he's trying to honestly pry for the Donaldson reputation of him an asshole. But the problem is that I don't think that's working. With Sale, he hasn't pitched in, to be fair, in a few innings in like 2 years. Donaldson hasn't been shit this season, so we really can't say. Shouts to Tudo, by the way.
What's up, Tudo?
We really can't say also Donaldson's proved it as well, but I just don't know what Chris Sale was going for here. I think it's going to blow over eventually. I don't think it's as big as some people make it, but I don't understand why he would feed into the fire.
For me, it's why are you acting like that in a minor league game? I get it. He's always been a fiery guy. Everybody knows Chris Sale's been fiery, and to your point, he hasn't pitched in 2 years. He's doing his best to try and get back on the major league field, but he's got a point where he says this is what makes pro athletes animals out there. They're not regular humans. They're out there making millions of dollars for a reason. They're not just you and I, talking baseball. They gotta feed their families doing what they do, and that's their job. So I like that he's a freak athlete. Like, I like seeing him get that pumped up. It's like part of me's scared and part of me's excited for that. So I don't know. I wish he wouldn't do that in a minor league where you can be seen with cameras. You know what I mean? Like it's creating a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that it shouldn't be right now. But to be honest with you, I love it. I love it. I want to see a guy that mad about getting pulled out of a game.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think once again, the one part of it is, dude, just prove it. Because you could
Yeah.
talk all that smoke. A lot of guys have done it. Eli Apple did it, and he got burnt in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson, he hasn't proven shit this season, and he always, is that asshole type of player, and he hasn't proven it either. Where other guys will prove it, and they're good at doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And Sale once was, but relying once again on a past picture of yourself is just like, dude, you haven't pitched in 2 years. I think he just needs a bit of a reality check. I know what he was going for, and it's not a problem to have that fire. It's just you have to have shit to back it up.
I mean, think about it this way: how many players do this that we don't see on camera? It probably happens every day. So, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a big show because they got it on camera.
Yeah. So Brad says Sale is just adding fuel to the fire with those comments. To be honest, I agree with
Hey,
you. I agree with you. Jets Mess says looks like a roid rage. Yankees fans, so that's
he's
no
too
surprise.
skinny.
But
He's not on roids. Look at him.
yeah, he's thin, but you never know. Guys, I think we should call the Nets and give Kevin Durant to the Knicks. That's never happening. To be fair, I like Durant's a good player. He's a great player, but the Knicks are not going to do that. Jack, how about them Orioles? We've been on fire. Once we take care of the Angels, we're on to you Yankees.
Hey,
Man, I
go get
mean,
him.
listen, well, that's what Sox wants, Jack. Jack's always in here with the crazy jokes that we love on here. That's what I know Jack for. But he's also an Orioles fan, so we could share that with Tony. But with that being said, yeah, your Orioles are on fire, and they're making this division look better. So a typical Yankees Red Sox game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because if it's not Yankees Astros in the playoffs, I think it's Yankees Red Sox. Twins I don't think are making it far. The Blue Jays are the Blue Jays,
Yeah.
and the Rays are. I mean, you guys had trouble against them. How
Yeah.
was that?
I mean, it's tough. That offense is tough, and Blue Jays play us well. In recent years, I'd like to see the records. But they got those studs over there. The question is the travel for them. The Toronto factor always seems to be weird in MLB playoffs for them. I don't know what it is. I think you said it best. Toronto is Toronto. It's like the Browns is the Browns. It's just going to happen, So I agree with you. I think it's going to be Yankees Red Sox. I can just feel it, man.
What I want you guys to do also, as well as we're talking about this is being streamed on 2 separate channels, Sox Arizona's and mine. So if you can, go hit that like button, subscribe to both channels, share out both channels, do all the good stuff. As we already noted, Brad and Tony did that already. But we all thank you guys for being in here. We're going to be going about an hour with this. So, questions, put it in the chat. We're going to answer them. We're going to go over everything. Devers is stacking his case for league MVP. You know what? I will say this now, and I'm not trying to belittle Aaron Judge because I love Aaron Judge. Hal Steinbrenner made some stupid ass fucking comments towards his negotiation stuff recently that I'll go over in just a second. But Devers' 2 home run game, and he's still hitting above that 300 ball.
Yeah. To be hitting over 300 this far into the season is impressive, man.
I will commend the Red Sox with this. They have 3 over 300 hitters.
Yeah,
that's something you don't see in baseball.
No.
So, that's one thing that's going for them.
I mean, just think about those struggles early on in the season. If we could have won a quarter of those games with the pitching just absolutely blew. This offense is it's weird. You mentioned we have 3 hitters over 300, but we strand 11 hitters the other night, 13 2 nights before that. It's weird once we get runners on base. You know what? I don't know what it is.
Shout outs to Jeffrey. What's going on, Jeffrey? What do you think about Baker Mayfield to the Panthers? I think it's an overrated move, and the Panthers are going to suck next year. That's what I
agree, 100%. That was my first thought.
I'm sorry. I think a lot of people are overhyping it. He's not that good. And I have the stats to bring it, but that's for people who actually want to bring the argument. I'm still uncertain who will be. I think it'll be between Judge, Ramirez, and Devers. You're going to have those people. And of course, it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, the voting is based on the writers. So what the problem is there is Otani's going to already be in it. And I think Judge has, first of all, he's hit 30 home runs before the All-Star break twice in his career. That's, the second year is this year. So that's an unachievable feat by some. And that's automatically in the conversation for MVP. Jose Ramirez has had a heck of a year, but the problem is that he's not going to get much recognition for it because this isn't the NFL where small market teams and small market players get recognition on a bad team because they're not a very good team. They're about just slightly over 500, if anything, at that. What was I going to say? Along the lines of that, Rafael Devers, I mean, the Red Sox are in second place. He just hit 2 home runs on what's supposed to be the Yankees ace. So that's turning some heads. That is turning some
He's
heads.
on pace to get 220 hits.
That would be a heck of a year. And, how has he been defensively of late?
I mentioned a little bit earlier, he's got, I think, 11 or 12 errors, but I feel like I've watched this guy for years. He's only 25 years old, and this dude is hitting bombs like that. I mean, that's got to be part of the conversation as well, but he's come a long way defensively. When he first came up, I'm like, this dude throws the ball away every time he gets it down there. I love him. I love him defensively. I think 11 errors can be made up for by 104 hits and 46 RBIs.
Let me say this about that as well, because you do bring up a good point about Devers. Fernando Tatis, I believe was last year, the year before, was one of the leaders in errors at shortstop for the San Diego Padres. Why did people overlook that? Not because the popularity, but because he was that good of a fucking hitter. So if you ask me, and Boston is not as big of a market as New York, but it's still a pretty big market. And I think Boston fans should honestly push away his defensive liabilities for the power he gives you. Now, is he going to hit 300 every single fucking year? No. But if he hits, 270, 280, in that range, I think he's worth the money.
See, this is the issue that I have, and I agree with you 100%. But people aren't willing to go sacrifice Jackie the other way. Is Jackie Bradley as good defensively as Rafael Devers is offensively? Hell yes, he is. But we can't sacrifice that. I don't understand why.
I think it's because it's more of an offensive home runs all that game. Now, I think here's what I say about that. I think people will just have to accept the player that some people are.
Yeah.
Like Jackie Bradley Jr., you just mentioned. He's a defensive player. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Tim LeCastro, one of the center fielders in the minor leagues for the Yankees, because he was hitting 194 when he was up here. That's not the player he is. He is a contact hitter at most, but he's a base runner. You put him on, he's a pinch runner. He's going to go steal bases for you.
100%.
Rafael Devers is not a defensive star, but what he's going to do is on the offensive side of the ball, where you need him, is you're going to hit home runs with him and get in the 270s, 280s, 290s. That's it.
100%. Yeah.
And I think people just need to learn to recognize players as what they are. But at the same time, you can call out their inconsistencies. Like Joey Gallo, what was it? Last night against the Pirates, he had a home run and he went deep. That's something he could do. We all know him as the home run hitter. He's only hit I think 8 home runs this year. But he sucked in the Yankees uniform. He doesn't walk enough, and he doesn't home run enough for us to forgive him for the strikeouts and the constant mental errors that he makes.
Yeah.
And it's the truth.
Yeah, I think that's good to go for all sports too. I think people set so many expectations, especially on the internet. Like, players are who they are. That's why they got there, I mean, let's go.
Yeah. And the reason why, I mean, honestly, when I was talking about Devers, when I brought him up, is I was thinking about IKF, because IKF was supposed to be a very good defensive replacement for Gleyber Torres. He won the Gold Glove at third, not at shortstop. He's had 12, 13 errors on the season, and he's not been too good offensively. Now, as of late, I know he had a very big game against Pittsburgh yesterday, but he's not that on a consistent basis. And I know that. Now, the defensive part I'm very frustrated with. That's why I brought up, possibility of getting Xander Bogaerts in the offseason. However, people were actually putting out, beginning of the year, IKF's going to hit 300. What in his career is going to show you that he's going to hit 300 ball? It's just not going to happen. And you know what I hate, Sox, is my buddy Gary Sheffield Jr. got into a Twitter debate today because apparently now the poster boy for contact hitter is IKF, someone who only hits singles. That's disgusting. That's showing you that people don't know what contact hitting is.
Yeah.
Andrew Bennett, because a lot of people have come out supposedly today and said the Yankees shouldn't go out there and spend top dollars, spend top prospects on Andrew Benintendi. I think that's bullshit, because if you're going to sit here, if you're the Yankees and you trade us Walt Peraza, who's the number 3 prospect in our system, if you go out and trade him for Andrew Benintendi, the fans will be, some fans will be like, okay, well, obviously we got to get our players and shit like that. We got to get the reinforcements. But other people will be like, oh, why'd you trade our number 3 prospect? First of all, we know how the Yankees are with position players. They're not very good with them. They would have called him up by now if they would have felt he was ready, so he could go flourish in a place like Kansas City or wherever. But the point is, if it wins you the World Series, why do you care? If it gets you to the World Series, why do you care about the prospect? And it doesn't have to be a rental, Sox. Andrew Benintendi's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
But is he going to cost that much in free agency for a contact bet that hits over 300?
He's young too.
He's young. Good point. Good point. Tony Clark says Devers will win the home run derby. If he's in a home run derby,
that would be sick.
I would. I know Vlad's not doing it. I know Judge isn't doing it. But if Devers is in there compared to some of the other guys, I think he wins a home run derby. I need a list of contestants, to be fair.
I know. I can't wait to see that. I don't know. I feel like he won't do it. I just have a feeling. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do it.
It would be exciting to see if he does. However, at the same time, I would understand, because it fucks up your swing.
It does. 100%. People that say it doesn't, it does. And the pressure to stand there and swing that hard that many times. Come on.
And let me say this. And I know we were talking about, oh, well, this guy, I was talking about IKF before and how never in his career he was a 300 hitter. I know I'm campaigning for Devers here. Where's the All-Star game this year? It is in LA. It is at Dodger Stadium. And I know I'm campaigning for Devers here, and I'm a Yankees fan, but as an outsider's opinion, you look at his career, going back to the point that the Red Sox honestly should re-sign him, and the Red Sox fans should forget about his defensive liabilities. 279 last year, 38 home runs. This year, 19 home runs, 330 batting average. And you think about it now, he has half the home run. Now, I don't know if this includes tonight, of course, but he has half the home runs he did last year. And he played 156 games last year. He's been 79 already. He may actually break that. If he doesn't have some stupid long bullshit streak that's bad.
Right.
But COVID season, 263. Which it was a COVID season. However, the year before that, 2019, 311. I wouldn't have a problem with that, if honestly. And what makes me feel better about these type of players, Sox, is that, okay, maybe their defenses are good. Okay, they strike out 140 times a year, but they hit for average. Yeah. Freddie Freeman's that type of player. Salvi Perez is that type of player. There's a couple other guys. That's why I didn't like the Gallo trade, because he doesn't hit for average. He strikes out increasingly high, and he doesn't do anything. But everybody loves his baseball savant page and this, that, and the other thing. But
there's a lot of, and there's not a lot of guys that hit, like, strike out a lot and hit for average. I mean, that's impressive, man. That is impressive. I like players like that, and I like the two that you mentioned. So, and it's a good point. Gallo is not that kind of guy, man. I mean, he is not having a good year. He made a nice play in the field tonight, I saw, though.
Yep, and he almost hit Aaron Hicks, but better communication next time. Better communication. But with that being said, very good play. I will commend him there. Guys, did you hear about the Draymond Green speech about Kevin Durant on Twitter? I did not. I wonder what he's opening his mouth about this time.
Yeah.
Devers can swing that stick. That's absolutely correct.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. I'm optimistic about the Giants. I think he means 8-9 or 9-8. I say 7-10 to start, but obviously they could do better and they could also do worse.
I
Interesting
would love
stat.
7-10. Sorry,
The
I
Orioles
would
lead the
love that.
7-10 would be really good. Interesting stat. The Orioles lead the majors with 9 pitchers with an ERA under 3. Wow. Okay. I bet the Yankees are sort of up there, but then again, we'll see. Alex, say hi, Chris Sales is throwing things after the game yesterday. Yep, we went over that. The Bengals Super Bowl run was a fluke. Joe, Macaulay, Culkin, Burrow will be figured out by your defenses next year. Let's go Ravens. Yeah, we
Oh,
have your defensive coordinator, Jack, but I expect the Ravens to be good this year. I think the Bengals will be good too. Uh, do you think the New York Giants can beat the Panthers in week 2? I do
yes.
believe so. The 2 players the Boston Celtics picked up, they picked up Brogdon from the Pacers, I believe it was. Do you have any thoughts on him?
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon, and there was one more. Damn it! I wish the name didn't lose me, but I like that. It's a fiery guy. It's a fiery guard. He can shoot the ball well. He plays good defense. You know, it's inspired by that Marcus Smart type of play. But if anybody knows the second guy that they got today, that would be nice if you guys could drop that. But Malcolm Brogdon, hey,
I still can't believe people are overhyping Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I think they'll win the division, but I don't think they'll be Super Bowl ready good. Um, I think the Boston Celtics will do better next year with the 2 players they just got. Hearing rumors that the Eagles are going to stop running the ball and do more passing this upcoming season. I mean, they have to. They have to because they have a new wide receiver in town. Um, I needed to change the subject about how Chris Sale. Yep, yesterday, of course. And I think Orioles need 22 more wins for MW to win the over bet in the season, in which I will get $5,000. I think they can push out 22 more wins.
aren't there like 80 games left? Yeah, they can win 20 games.
Yeah, if they don't win 20 games, I mean
Yeah.
that's some pretty bad shit right there. Judge will obviously win the MVP. I think it's going to be a contestation. I think it's going to be in
We'll
contention.
see. This last stretch is going to make if Rafael Devers continues this, it is going to be a conversation. I'll just say that.
I think it's going to be down to the wire, and I'm going to look purposely at the Yankees schedule in the second half of the season. Why am I looking at that? So the Yankees actually go to Texas, which they should have started out against. They should have started out against Texas at the beginning of the year, but obviously the lockout favored in. So Texas we'll see again. Baltimore. But I think what's going to be interesting, though, is what Devers does against the Yankees in the last 4-game set in September, because that is about 3 series away from the rest of the season. And I think that's going to be one of the presiding points. Who does better, Judge or Devers?
Yeah, especially if they're playing against each other. That's a really good point because that creates conversation.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're going to have the Blue Jays fighting for a playoff spot. You're going to have the Rays fighting. So the Yankees will try to push out the Red Sox, who they know have given them trouble in the postseason the last few years.
Yeah.
So there's that. I forgot to read Brad's comment. He said, not saying Judge and Jeter and others aren't perfect, but when have things like this coming out in the past. I think he's talking about, of course, the Garrett Cole stuff, which I'm not happy about. Niners 11-6. I could see that. Cowboys are better than the Eagles. I don't believe that, to be honest. 3 teams with 45 plus wins in the AL East now. That's very competitive. I think we're the most competitive division in baseball.
We were last year for sure. I mean, it makes sense that it carried over.
Yeah, and now with the Orioles possibly creeping in,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. What was I going to say though? I know you guys lost 2 of 3 to the Rays, and I know one of your prospects made his debut. How did that go?
Yeah, man. I think, and by the way, before I forget, you were talking about the Yankees' remaining schedule. The Red Sox have 80 games left. 49 of them are against the AL East. And we've talked about the struggles against the division.
You guys aren't good against the AL East.
So this is going to be interesting. That Tampa Bay series was tough. I'm pulling up the scores right now.
Yeah, you guys won the first game in a shutout, and then 2 games you dropped. I remember what Barlow, I think his name is, or something like that.
Yeah, he made his debut, right?
He's going to be in the Brian Bello. That's his name. And he also what was I going to say? I think he's going to be in the futures game too. Brian
Really?
Bello, and there's another guy on this list. I don't know if you know his name. Sidani Rafaela.
I'm not familiar with that guy.
It's probably in the mid levels, but I don't see it. But Twitter is lighting up about Cole's post game interview tonight. Not sure why though. Oh, okay. Time to search the Twitter sphere.
I don't see it lighting up about Cole's post game interview tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Yep. I'm searching, guys. If you guys can get me some tweets or quotes, I would love it.
Nimmer said he shared it with you.
Okay, he shared the Kevin Durant thing. Yeah. Shares thoughts on yep. What was I gonna say? If Kevin Durant, I don't actually want to be here anymore. Does it matter? What does it make me weak? I think he's talking about basically if he wants to go somewhere else, why in the world? Why is it weak? Like why is him escaping from the Nets weak? I think that's his point. What? You're gonna laugh at this, Sox. You're gonna laugh.
Kevin Durant's been like that his whole everybody knows that he was gonna leave if it wasn't successful right away.
No, but I mean that's Sox. You got to listen to this Garrett Cole.
Okay.
Garrett Cole on Rafael Devers. I'm open to suggestions. What the fuck does that mean?
What? So he doesn't know. So what I get is that he doesn't know why.
He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to.
He doesn't know what the hell's going on against Devers.
That's bad. You know how many games we got to play against the Sox now?
No, it's true. Like I just said, 49 out of our 80s against the AL East. So, man, I don't know. That gives me a good feeling going into this second half of the season.
You know, I was actually considering going to the game on next Saturday with the Sox because they come into town next Saturday. Yeah, but unfortunately, a couple of my buddies are going to be out of town, so I'm hoping to catch a lot of second half action. And what's going to be a test though, as well, is we face Houston right out of the gate, a doubleheader no less after the All-Star break.
That'll be tough.
It is going to be tough, and if we don't win one of those two games, I'm actually not going to be happy. I don't care whether, we're on a week's break, a 2-day break, whatever. But, man, I mean...
This might be a dumb question. Is it a lock that the Yankees win the division? Like, lock?
Is it a lock? Like, do you think it... Like, is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
I want to say yes, but I feel like it's going to get interesting at some point.
Okay, so it's not a runaway. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think it's too much of a runaway. I don't think it's going to be like 14 games. I think it's going to be like 3 to 7 games.
Because to be honest with you, I don't know what's out of reach, with this much time left. But I'm just focused on the wild card. I just look at that standing every day. I just want to be right there.
Yeah. And of course, reinforcements are made along the way, and that makes you feel better about your team. Yeah. Fun fact. And this is not a good fun fact for me, for Sox it is. Garrett Cole has now a 6.55 ERA in 4 regular season starts at Fenway as a Yankee. That's the 7th worst by any Yankee pitcher at Fenway. Wow, that's terrible. Man. That is fucking no. I'm actually disgusted.
I know, especially like at any ballpark. You want to pitch well at any other ballpark to have that ERA.
And I said this on a tweet. This man pitches gems against Houston, but he can't figure out the Red Sox.
I was just going to ask if you know any other ballparks that he dominates or plays well in, but I guess he plays well against Houston, you said.
Let me think. I think he gave up a home run to Josh Naylor against Cleveland last Saturday, but that was an okay start. I'm not going to fault him too much.
Was that the game that Josh Naylor hit a home run and started freaking out, hitting his head against people's helmets?
If he did, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
You didn't see that, I guess, huh? Yeah, he hit a home run.
I know he's done that several times. He's a fucking nut job.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's nuts. He's real nuts. Okay.
So I shared that tweet quote with my team NYY News TV, and one of my buddies Joe says, "Go fuck yourself," in response to the Garrett Cole. I'm open to suggestions. Like I don't know that that's typically a response you want to put up right after you get shit on.
That's tough,
Um,
man.
so
I don't know. I don't know.
here's one thing. Here's one thing also as well. My buddy Christian brings it up. Here's one. Challenge him with your fastball. The same fastball. He was electric with that fastball tonight. Now that
Right.
would have been dangerous at points, possibly to feed to Devers, but he was throwing it. He threw a slider, and that was one of the home runs. He threw a changeup. His cutter was good, and his fastball was good. But I don't know why he wasn't pitching that. If he was getting a load of the off speed stuff, why not go to the cutter? Why not go to the fastball? And I know, yes, the automatic answer is, oh, he would have hit that too. Well, guess what? You're a major league pitcher. Okay.
Yeah.
You face this guy how many times a year? Figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, man.
Simple.
And everybody knows Devers hunting the fastball, and that includes the cutter. So you almost take away two of his pitches when he's facing him, especially if he's scared to throw them. So that's tough, man. When you have to throw your secondary pitches as your primaries, ooh.
Yeah, and he's still hitting that. So
And
it's
he's
either
still hitting
don't
it.
pitch to him or pitch the corners. Pitch
They
the
were talking
inside
about it
corner.
on the. Go ahead.
I said, pitch the inside corner, pitch the outside corner. One of them has to work. And the umpire was inconsistent tonight, but he could have called some pitches. He could have called some inside pitches. If I think Trevino was behind the plate tonight. So if there's an inside pitch that looks like it's on the white, but he pulls it back into the zone, that could be a strike.
They were talking about on the Red Sox broadcast that why not just walk this guy next time he comes up? I mean, why not just do it?
Honestly, I'm not opposed to that and I know it's, a way of, might be pussing out or whatever, but what
Right.
else can you do against him? I
Yeah.
mean, they literally had a mound visit before he was up, and then he hits a 3-run dinger. So it shows
Yeah.
that you can do nothing. You can do
You
nothing.
want him to put one in the fucking seats, or you want him to take first base? Which one is it?
That's honestly the question at this point.
Yeah.
That quote has to have Devers' confidence way up. I would be fucking thrilled if I was Rafael Devers. I'd be like, this guy doesn't know how to figure me out.
Watching him
bad.
hit 2 home runs in one game is awesome. And I think we've seen him hit 3 home runs at least once before in a game. But I told my girlfriend the other day, and I'm like thinking as I watch Rafael Devers, I'm like, is this guy the future? If they pay this guy, he's going to be possibly the next David Ortiz-like figure for the Red Sox. He's going to be that guy if they pay him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely agree with you. I could see it honestly, because I mean Ortiz. Even though Devers will be playing more infield,
Of course.
and Ortiz was of course a DH, but the power. I mean, if he could keep this up, it's gonna be crazy for Boston.
And his connection with the fan base too. That's a big part of this whole like run that he's on. They absolutely love this guy, man. It's next level. They get on their feet when he comes to the plate.
Nimmer says, I think we should trade Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, and Evan Fournier. I agree with 2 or 3 of those. Maybe keep Fournier as the 6th man, but Randle, they should trade him. And Obi Toppin, no. But unfortunately, he's not going to get much success out of a non-modern NBA offense, an offense that's all based on iso ball. That quote, yep, yeah, I just read that. But I'm not thrilled with Garrett Cole. I really am not, because everybody sees Boston generally as, oh, well, guess what? We could beat them, right? They were down early. Like, everybody was fucking stomping on Boston. And I hate the Red Sox. Sox knows that. I hate the Red Sox. But when you have your ace struggle in these types of... Let me ask you a question, though. What if we're put in this exact situation? Let's go to the playoffs. Let's, I don't know, ALDS game 1. And it happens to be Yankees Sox. The Red Sox go in as one of the wild card spots. The Yankees have that kind of bye-ish type of bracket. And then ALDS game 1, Garrett Cole would start game 1. And let's just say you have a guy, maybe Chris Sale doesn't pitch game 1. Maybe he pitches game 2. Or Evaldi comes back, he pitches game 2, and Sale pitches game 1. And I don't mean game 1, game 2, but like game 1 being the wild card game, and
Yeah.
game 2 being, okay, ALDS game 1. What if Sale and what if Evaldi actually shut down the Yankees lineup where you don't have Hicks hitting a home run, where you don't have Donaldson hitting a grand slam, where it's trouble getting runners on base? What if they just stall you because they're good? And then Garrett Cole hits a dinger. What if Cole hits dinger? You know what I mean? What if Cole throws dingers? What if he throws one of Devers to Bogarts? So I don't want to hear from the fan base, oh, it's just one guy. It's not just one guy. It's not just one guy, because he blew up against Detroit early in the season. He blew up against the Twins, the fucking Twins. He gave up 5 home runs, to be fair.
Yeah.
He blew up on opening day when I was there. So I know what I'm seeing. He's had his fair share of good starts. He's had his fair share of bad starts. But the thing is, you pay the man $36 million not to come here and beat teams like the Indians, not to beat teams like the Reds, to beat teams like the Boston Red Sox, to beat teams like the Blue Jays, to beat teams like the Astros. And he's done that. He's beaten the Astros. But it's not about the regular season, always. It's about the postseason. And right now, Sox, the way I look at this rotation, with the blowups it's been having, you see a bunch of pitchers pitching. It's like having a running back by committee. And of course, that works in the NFL for some teams, for others it doesn't. But
Rarely.
there's no single ace. There's no top pitcher, because Cortez has reverted back to himself. He should still be an all-star, because I thought he had a hell of a start to the season. Jamison Tyon, I don't think he's coming back as a Yankee next year. He's blown up in the last few starts. Jordan Montgomery, I don't know that he should be relied on every single time around to actually give you a solid couple of innings. Severino, I mean, he's one of the more I'm confident in, to be honest with you. And I know he's coming off of this injury and all that stuff. The worry at the beginning of the season was, he's going to pitch this amount of innings. What if they hold him? Blah blah blah. I have more confidence in him pitching on game 1 than I do Garrett Cole. And I'm going to be real with you. And I don't even care if this is at Yankee Stadium. We've seen this before. Literally two games in a row. You have Bogarts hit the home run in the wild card game. And then you have Devers hit the 3-run shot when I was there on opening day. So, to be fair, it's not just, it's away. I mean, you shouldn't even have that problem, though. You shouldn't even have that problem pitching away. And people want to bring up, his start against the Rays. His start against the Rays, it was a good start. But to be fair, there were no fucking fans there. And that was in San Diego. Do you really want to consider that? And I'm not trying to compare him to Julius Randle, everybody. But when did Julius Randle succeed with the Knicks? He succeeded in 2020 when there were no fans in the arena.
Yeah.
That's when he got his shining time. And that's the truth. That's the truth.
You saw a lot of guys shine at that time, too. It was kind of cool to watch, you heard multiple guys around the NBA say how it just felt like going into shooting practice. It felt like that kind of atmosphere. You can hear the ball bouncing off the seats. It's different. They could just catch fire and just keep shooting, and there's no ups and downs from the fans. I love it.
So Jets Mess says pitch around Devers. Devers versus Cole, 7 for 23, 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. Let's do the math. 7 for 23. That's a 304 batting average, by the way. So that's absolutely insane. And
wow,
6
man.
of those 7 hits are home runs. That's unbelievable. Devers. Shout out to Jeff, who actually is a Warriors fan. So Sox is a Celtics fan. He's probably still feeling some of that pain, but obviously it was all in good fun. What's up, fellas? Love the podcast. Can the Cardinals get any help in the pitching department? They definitely need more arms. I don't know what you guys are looking for, to be fair, Jeff. If you're looking for starters, Frankie Montas is one of your best bets. If anything, he's the best bet because even though he actually is missing his next start because he had a cortisone shot, so he'll be missing his next start, but he's probably your best bet. You probably have to give up a couple of prospects for Montas because the A's are rebuilding. But why I say he's your best bet is a guy like Luis Castillo, they're not trading him in division. The Reds are not trading the Cardinals. They're not helping them out. Just like, people say, oh, we should get Anthony Santander. The Orioles are not trading to the Yankees. That's just not happening. But also, if you want to go out and see if the Marlins are selling, I know a lot of people love Sandy Alcantara, but it's going to take a mother load to get him. It's going to take a mother load. Guys, how are Mets doing? My friend is a huge Mets fan. I don't watch a lot of baseball. Mets are doing really good. They were up 10-0 on the Marlins. Last time I checked, I had a friend at the game, and JD Davis hit a grand slam and it was 6-0. So,
okay.
A lot of production going there. But I would not get too happy because, well, guess what, everyone? Let's take a look at those MLB standings. The Braves are only 3 games back. So I would honestly, I would watch for what's behind, but also don't, keep track of what's in front of you. Definitely starters have plenty of trade bait. Okay, very good then. I don't know how your GM is, Jeff, but yep, Frankie Montas, Sandy Alcantara, some names. Maybe you could try to get not Luis. Actually, that wouldn't even work because once again, in division. But Tyler Mahle is another name that a lot of people have mentioned. We'll see. We'll see what starters come available because honestly, out of Montas, Mahle, and Castillo and Alcantara, I don't know much. But those are the big names out there. Hopefully your Cardinals do get some starting talent. I know a lot of teams are going to be in for that starting talent. The 2 best hottest hitters against Garrett Cole are over their career are Anthony Rizzo and Matt Carpenter. That's very odd. So Devers joins the party. Does that mean Devers joins the Yankees?
Yeah, right. And let's just be like, there's a, you know what? Fuck. That just hit me. In my MLB The Show season, franchise and road to the show, Devers joined the Yankees. And now you're saying this? Oh my fucking God, man. I will lose that shit. I'm about to die if Benintendi goes to the Yankees, let alone Devers, man. I'm falling in love with this guy. Leave me alone.
Sox, you gotta write to the general management. You gotta write to was it Heim Bloom or whoever runs that front office. They will be in trouble with Molina and Albert leaving. Not really any catchers on the roster. Here we go again with this thing. And it's not Jeff's fault, but I would say Wilson Contreras, but they're not trading in division. And I know a lot of Yankee fans want Wilson Contreras. Oddly enough, I mean, I see Sox's Boston Strong tweet that he just sent me via Twitter. So it's facts. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but that's the way it. That's the way it is. So here's a couple of facts as well. Yankees are now 11-9 when allowing 5+ runs in a game this season. That's by far the best record in the MLB. Every other team is at least 11 games under 500 in those games. So that's a very interesting one. Very interesting fact.
Keeps up, man. That offense keeps up.
Yep. Josh Winchowski on the first time facing the Yankees. I think Rizzo and Judge lengthened their lineup. I'm not going to say the guys in there they had today were bad by any means, but it felt like another big league lineup, to be honest. To be fair, though, Josh, Judge, and Rizzo were actually not playing today.
Yeah, that's that makes it quite a different lineup there, buddy. But I don't love that quote. I don't love that quote.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like both starters have had tone-deaf quotes. Anthony Medina, what's going on, my man? Met him at N1Y News TV Day. Brad is busting Sox's balls, saying, I'm just going to say 15 games behind.
Brad, we're going to win against the AL East. At least 500 against the AL East coming up.
I would hope so if I was a Red Sox fan.
That's the goal, at least.
Again, versus division, the Red Sox, let's see what their record is, 9-19.
Fuck, man. Only 9 games that we've won against the AL East.
And you've won what? Let's see. One against the Yankees?
And what's crazy is we had the number last year. We beat the shit out of the Yankees last year. I think it took till past the All-Star break before they got their first win against the Red Sox, and now tables have turned. Tables have certainly turned.
But can they get really? They can really get him probably a long shot in terms of Contreras. Yeah. If you have the prospects and the trade bait, I would definitely say if the Cubs like the offer, go ahead. But once again, the in division thing is kind of what puts me off. Even though there are times that the Yankees and the Sox have done trades, the Yankees and the Rays have done trades, the Yankees and the Jays have done trades, but those are all minor trades. Like the biggest trade I can remember was Steven Drew going to, I think it was the Yankees, and I think Martin that was like 2014, and I think Kelly Johnson went to the Red Sox. That was just a pretty mid trade. What was I going to say? Dreams and talk are cheap, Sox. So Brad, obviously on the high energy. I did make a mistake and went to the game the other day. 104 at the game and 90% humidity. Absolute insanity. What was I thinking? Left in the fourth inning. Is it that hot in New York? No.
Where's that?
He lives in St. Louis.
It's hot out there.
It is hot and dry.
Yeah.
It is hot and dry. Not like Arizona dry, but I know it's pretty much flatlands over there. Like that whole Midwest, at least from what I know from geography. Now, of course, the education may not be as bright, so I could be wrong on this. But from what I know, like states like Kansas and Missouri and all that stuff, there's pretty much flatlands, which makes it pretty much vulnerable to tornadoes.
Yeah.
From at least what I remember. But listen,
something sounds pretty accurate.
Sounds pretty accurate. What was I going to say? So I just want to go over a few things more, see if I missed any comments. I did not. Joey Gallo is on top 10 hitters versus Garrett Cole.
That doesn't surprise me for some reason. I don't know. Joey Gallo was good there for a while. People seem to forget that. I know he's struggling.
He was good. But then the Yankees got him, and it's that New York market. And I don't blame the New York market. Some guys are just not fit for it. Sonny Gray being one. Wells and Lloyd for Clemens. Wells, oh yeah. Wells, I think was David Wells and Graham Lloyd for Roger Clemens. Was that the trade? If that was, I had no recollection of that. Maybe I'm once again, I might be a bad baseball fan. Yeah, that was actually with the not the Red Sox, the Jays. They sent over David Wells, Homer Bush, and Graham Lloyd for Roger Clemens. So
I think people in the chat could agree. I don't think we think you're a bad baseball fan. Trust me.
Yes. Brad might, but Brad is busting my balls as usual. 97.1 News TV sure got a shirt from Big Pat Sports Shop, so might get one also if you're selling it somewhere. I'm gonna put it up. Did I tell you about my latest pleasure over power skit? I don't know if I told you about that.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to put a fake fan Alex. Now, Brad's thing about me being a fake fan is that I went to 2 Mets games. So.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Great American Ballpark in a couple weeks, going to Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's playing against the Sox?
I believe it's I forgot what day it is, but I think it's
the Reds.
The Marlins and the Reds, and then we're going up to Cleveland to see the Diamondbacks and Guardians.
Those are some weird matchups.
They are, huh? I know. I like it, and I just love that 2 boys from Arizona going out to Ohio. The Arizona Diamondbacks are following us, and we're going to see them.
Look what happened when Randy Johnson once came to the Yankees. He really wasn't the big unit in New York. I told a story about him last week. It was a pretty fun story. But
I'll never
Randy
forget
Johnson,
that story. That's hilarious.
Randy Johnson was not really a fit for New York. Suffice to say, Brian Dable and Todd Tibbs, I want them to succeed this year. Yeah, me too. I don't care if I don't like Tibbs. I want everybody to succeed. But my thing with pleasure over power was I was talking with my brother live on Twinbill last week about the fact that IKF is not a home run hitter. And basically, he has the short porch and he doesn't take it anywhere. Like, he doesn't take it that way. And fun fact, when I was in Little League and in high school, I was, to be fair, always an opposite field hitter, which was weird. But I thought I'd put in there a fun fact. But anyway, in terms of the IKF and pleasure over power thing, I said I would lose my virginity before IKF hits his first home run as a Yankee. So I said that, yep. And what I went on to say, I was balancing out my options. I said, okay, that's a Twitter link, is it? Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I'm going to resend that. I'm going to resend. I can't even delete it, but you guys know that's not you guys know, of course, that is not the link. Hey, Sox, check out yesterday's Game Season. Yep, I was being made fun of on Game Season Live yesterday, but it was all in good fun, of course.
What is Game Season Live? I'm sorry. I'm out of the loop.
For NYY News TV, also MH, what's going
What's
on,
up,
MH?
MH?
Sox sucks.
You suck, MH.
There's a Mets fan. Oh, can't be surprised. Well, you know what, Sox? You're not really supposed to say that because you do not see the Sox and Mets are teaming up to put their players in the All-Star game.
Also, chanting Yankees suck, which the Red Sox fans did today, down a run in the 9th inning, which is just absurd to me, by the way.
I mean, Alex admits he's an idiot. Well, I am an idiot. Here's the link. Yanks pen it all the way. I wouldn't say that. I would say the Astros right now. He says just sell. The Red Sox are not selling in second place.
MH.
They're not selling in second place. You lost your virginity. You get fucked by hooks every day. Oh man, I'm surprised that Brad didn't make that comment. But Jets, you have officially earned comment of the day. You know, today it didn't happen because he actually hit a home run. But other days, I guess you could say. But going back to the pleasure power thing, when I said I would lose my virginity before IKF hits his next home run. What was I going to say? I was balancing out my options. I'm like, I would want IKF to succeed, but at the same time, I kind of would want to lose my virginity first. So pleasure over power. And that's how that game felt.
That is hilarious. Literally.
There's actually a shirt on NYY News TV /shop that actually has it's called Pleasure Over Power because of me.
I'm getting one.
It's only I think it's only like $25, which is relatively cheap for the company we actually go with. But
so it's a good shirt. That's a good shirt for $25.
Yes. I think it's under Twin Bill. Yep, Pleasure Over Power. So you could help us buying our merch and stuff like that. Jeff's got a good comment about your ballpark. Fenway Park was the best ballpark I've been to. So much history, better than Yankee Stadium, in my opinion. The thing with that is, I have never seen Fenway, so I'm actually going to make an unbiased. I'm not going to be Fenway sucks because Red Sox suck. No, I'm going to be unbiased. Fenway's been around for like 100-something years. Yankee Stadium was built in 2009, and Yankee Stadium is more gentrified. It's more. They're trying to reach out for the millennials and stuff like that. Where the Red Sox, from an outside perspective, it's just the history of the Sox, the guys that played there, and you get a dose of old school baseball
and clam chowder in your seat delivered right to you.
I didn't even know that, and I don't even want to try clam chowder.
Whoa! You don't like clam chowder?
That's not something I'd be interested in.
Okay, well, now we know Alex is a fake fan, and
I was never a fan of seafood related shit to begin with, so there's no fake.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I love seafood though. Clam chowder right in your seat. I don't know. Well,
You work for a seafood restaurant, so that only makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. So I've never been to either of those stadiums, but I've seen Fenway Park a million trillion times on TV. I think it's the monster brings big appeal. The history, obviously, the Yankees have the history there too. Having the oldest ballpark in America is big. It's one of the the marketing points of the stadium and the team, and then the fans are just nuts. Mass holes are just fucking crazy, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I want to see Fenway and I want to see Wrigley Field.
Me too. Wrigley would be cool.
And Great American Ballpark is actually one of the ones on my list.
I
Great
hear that you
American.
can see the Ohio River from a lot of the seats, which is really cool.
I would love that. Also, Pittsburgh is on my list. Um, I know one of my friends, Donald, who we did the post game with a few series ago. Well, actually, that was actually the first series of the season. He actually went out to Pittsburgh and actually saw last night's game where we actually pounded. We pounded the Pirates. It's like 16-0. I don't know if you saw Sox, but what was I going to say? The broadcaster was like, "This is ridiculous." After one of the grand slams,
Oh,
thought it was
really?
funny. Yep. Tony says PNC was amazing. Yeah, I gotta go there. I think next year Rob Manfred wants all 30 teams to play against each other. So with that being said, I would like to make a trip out there. I need to make a trip to an away stadium just overall because I'm thinking about Boston, but I have to get a few things ironed out. I want to make sure I have enough money. So there's that idea in mind. Um, I know I kind of want to go to a Giants away game this year, but at the same time, I would like to stick to home. So I'm full of a lot of ideas right now. I'm full of a lot of ideas. Uh, what was more impressive, Judge Granny yesterday or Davis Homer today? See, what makes that question even harder, MH, is that the both teams suck.
Good point.
That's what makes it harder. Make sure you don't get beat up by salty Sox fans if you go. I mean, yeah, there are people that actually showed up tonight. I'm not mentioning names, but actually went there, tried promoting their company, and like they didn't wear Yankee shit. I'm like, dude, you're a Yankee fan in Boston. We own them all season. Why don't you wear Yankee shit? Like I go into when my team is not playing, I go to Citi Field. I don't care if I got Mets fans harassing me, whatever. I go into Citi Field, and guess what? I wear Yankee shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
man.
called I'm proud of my fucking team. I will go into, and I know my friend has already, just he's pounded my mind with this idea and it bugged me with this. His Steelers, he's a Steelers fan. Um, his team is playing the Eagles, I think week 8, and that's in like I want to say late October, early November. And with that being said, it's in Philly. So he asked me, "Do you want to go?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't decided on it yet because I am going to the Giants Washington game." Uh, Alex, that's the spirit of all Italians. I mean, I'm partially Italian, so I could take some of that. Yes, Rizzo, Gallo, all those guys. Uh, Olivia, I don't believe that Judge going to be the worst offensive coordinator this year, and Mac Jones is going to fail. Yeah, no, Mac Jones is not going to be very good. I need to decide on this. Before we end off the show, I got to decide on this. At the same time, I don't think Davis has the power Judge has, but Judge hit what? He hit a grand slam for what, 30 yesterday? So I'll take Judge slightly. I wear my Orioles gear no matter what game I go to get all kinds of comments. And that's about rooting for your team. That's about being faithful in your team and all that sort of shit. If you've ever been to Bosse Field in Indiana, that's where they filmed a League of Their Own. It's absolute treasure. Played there in college. Awesome. I've never been. I actually didn't know they filmed it in Indiana. So Jeff bringing the facts here. But maybe that's on my list. I know I want to go to the Combine in Indiana this year. I don't know how far Bosse Field is from Lucas Oil Stadium, but that would be interesting. I have a lot of shit to see just overall. But with it being said, I think we could start closing out for the night, as we wanted to only come on for about an hour postgame edition. Excuse me. We got a ton of viewers. Jack, a lot of the guys from the chat, MH Tudo, Brad, Anthony Medina, MH, Tony, a lot of the other cats. Sox. Let me ask you one final question, and let me ask you two questions, actually. We play 6 more games against you guys. We play 3 at the stadium before the All-Star break, and we play 3 more to end off this weekend. How would you like it to go? How do you think it's going to go? Like, how many games are the Red Sox going to win? How many do you want them to win? Like, what,
Out of
If you
those
want,
6 games, to be honest with you, I'd like to win 4 or 5 of them. Realistically, do I think that's going to happen? No. I think the Sox take 2 or 3 of those games.
okay, so 2 or 3 out of 6. That would be very lucky though. 2 or 3 out of 6. I mean,
Yeah.
against a team that's really fathered you, besides Rafael Devers fathering Cole.
Yeah.
But against a team that's beating you up, if you get 2-3 games halfway out of the next 6, I mean, doesn't look all that bad. Heading into the All-Star break, where of course you rest, you do all that shit. What was I going to say though? How I think it's going to go, without putting in what the Yankees need to do, because the Yankees are 15 games up. I think the Yankees are going to take 4 of the next 6. I'm going to be fair. I think they're going to take 4 of the next 6. I think that there is a possibility that there is a split of this series, but that would have to be a sweep at the stadium in terms of my prediction. So I'm going to take, did I say 3 of 6 or 2 of 6?
You said 2 of 6.
Okay, 2 of 6. So I think there's going to be 1 win in each for the Red Sox. There's going to be
Okay.
1 win. I don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be this weekend at Fenway. And then there's going to be another win, which very well could be the last game before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Also, it could be on national TV on Saturday, which is, I think, on ESPN.
Nice.
It's in Evansville. So I'll be sure to research that. I always wear my Giants t-shirt when I go to the Giants Stadium. Of course, support your team like always.
Of course.
With that being said, Sox, any final thoughts?
No, man. I'm honestly really glad we came on here. Came on here and did this this evening. And it's a tough one for the Sox. It was fun to watch, to be able to actually get off work in time to watch the end of that game. I was excited for Devers to possibly hit 3 homers in a game. It's always fun when you see someone do that. Cole struggles against him. I don't know what it is. Neither does he. Neither do you. Neither does anybody in the chat. Neither does anybody in the world. Devers is daddy to Garrett Cole. And you know what? It's fun. I'm glad there's just baseball back, and I'm glad we're able to watch it. And going into the All-Star break here, we got a lot of games against the AL East coming up. Sox got to get it together. And it's now or never. We're going to find out really soon whether or not we're going to be pushing for the playoffs or not. So, yeah, I mean, here we go. We'll see you next week on Thursday, guys.
Stay tuned, everyone, because obviously, next Thursday. But as we announced a few weeks ago, we are doing a Mets hat giveaway.
Yes.
Near the trade deadline, but before that, All-Star break. So with that being said, me and Sox will organize the details. I think I've done some giveaways before, so I think I have an idea. I know Sox, I think he gave away his PS4 before or whatever.
Yep.
Please make an official announcement on your live show. We'll be at the link December 11th game. All boys, losers up, pull up, or shut the hell up. So he's going to be at the link. What was it? December 11th.
That's big. That's big.
I mean, to be fair, I think this is correct at least. They don't play him December 11th at the link. It's going to be the last week of the season. They play the link. I think that's in January. They do play the Eagles December 11th, though. I think it's actually at home. So if you want to check the schedule, I just wanted to make sure that I have my information correct. But obviously, stay tuned. Dead Red every week. 8:30, 9:30, of course. With that being said, if you're a Mets fan, if you're a baseball fan, we are going to be giving away 2 Mets hats, courtesy of SoxArizona. We'll be making a checklist for you guys to do, of course, to make sure you meet the requirements for the giveaway. We're going to probably resort to the details a little, maybe after this, because we do want to get it going. We do want to get a lot of people in the contest. And that's not the only way that's going to be done on my channel. We'll be doing training camp tickets because I know a week from today, training camp tickets will be available and FanFest tickets will be available. So we're going to be purchasing extra tickets that are free, by the way, but there's a limited amount. So with that being said, you guys, if you guys don't get the tickets in time, come to our channel. We're going to be doing giveaways. And it's going to be like that. But we appreciate you guys. Go Yankees. Could sing New York, New York again. But we'll see what this next couple of games brings before the All-Star break. And we'll definitely be recapping this at some point, whether it be after the game on Sunday or next Thursday, whenever. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in, and peace. Good night.